Hi, I'm Kelly. Today we're going to go through a yin practice. We're going to keep it pretty simple, pretty easy to follow along, nothing too complicated. A couple things with yin, it's a very slow moving practice. We focus on holding poses for longer periods of time, more focused on compression and working those joints and getting them a little more lucrative and stuff like that. Be able to move around a little bit more and find that deeper stretch, that deeper release that you can't get when you're just kind of moving around or finding smaller stretches. So we want to kind of dive into that. So we're just going to start in an easy seat to begin. So just come to a nice comfortable seat. If you have a folded blanket, feel free to sit on the blanket, a nice little cushion underneath your seat. We'll use a blanket throughout. You can use it, you cannot use it. It's just an option I'd like to give in case it just makes that pose a little bit more comfortable to be in for that longer period of time. So come to that nice easy seat, sit up nice and tall. So lengthen out your spine, relax your shoulders away from your ears, and allow your eyes to just close over. So with yin, we want to find a nice gentle breath, just breathing in and out through your nose, just finding that nice, even, gentle, rhythmic pace. So just start to find that breath. And no judgment on the breath, just allow it to kind of flow, kind of notice the breath. And then see if you can calm it down if it feels short, uneven, really just kind of challenged a little bit. See if you can smooth it out to continuously breathe in and breathe out with no stopping points or no holding your breath. So we'll take a few rounds of breath. Again, finding that nice rhythm to that breath. Again, just notice your breath. Finding that nice pace. And as you find that nice pace, allow the body to just start to relax. Feel that easiness wash over you. And I'd like to read you a quote as we're just breathing. Behind you, all your memories. Before you, all your dreams. Around you, all who love you. Within you, all you need. Take a few more rounds of breath. Let your face soften. So if your eyebrows feel scrunched or you're clenching your jaw, let your jaw fall open, soften those eyebrows. Even your legs, if your legs feel a little tense, like you're holding up your knees, see if you can soften, just let it fall. Take one more round of breath. And then you can gently open your eyes. We'll come into child's pose, so our first pose. So you can start by coming to all fours, letting the knees come a little wider than the hips. Toes can come to touch. So your blanket can be used for multiple positions if you'd like. Feel free to bring the blanket between your thigh and your calf and let the hips sink back if your hips can't quite get to those heels and you're kind of somewhere in between. Another option is to bring that blanket in front, allowing your forehead or side of your cheek to rest down. Arms can stay stretched out long, or you can stack your hands and just rest your forehead down, or again, you can rest your cheek down. So we're gonna come into that child's pose so you start to feel it in those hips. So we don't want to go too far too fast because we will hold for longer periods of time. So it'll kind of sink in a little more and you'll find that little more discomfort as you hold in that pose. So just kind of find where you start to feel it in your hips, where you start to feel it in your low back. That's why a blanket sometimes is nice to keep you up. And then just sink into the pose. Again, come back to that nice rhythm of your breath. Breathing in and out through your nose. Allow everything to soften. Just let it sink into your mat. This is more of a meditative practice as well, so there'll be longer periods of quietness. If your mind is racing like crazy, feel free to come to a word or a phrase to let yourself relax. So maybe it's just that. Maybe it's relax, maybe it's peace, maybe it's let go. Anything to distract yourself from those zillions of thoughts that'll cross your mind. Just sink into the pose and rest. If you rested one cheek down, slowly turn your head, resting your other cheek down. Use that breath to breathe into any discomfort. If you're really feeling that discomfort in those hips, use your breath to soften that area. Now, if anything is painful or falling asleep, please make adjustments, maybe lift up those hips, come out and come back into it, or just come out altogether. Take a couple more rounds of breath. For this last few breaths, if your stress point has changed, you're feeling pretty comfortable, feel free to remove that blanket, allowing your chest to come a little deeper in toward your mat. Maybe stretch out those arms a little farther toward the top, stretching out those shoulders. Again, just breathe that nice gentle breath. Take one more nice deep breath in. Breathe into your backside body. Nice full breath in, nice full breath out. We'll slowly and gently make our way out of child's pose back into tabletop. So taking your time, you can start by maybe walking your hands back, gently and slowly lifting up those hips. And when you're ready, you can bring your knees back underneath your hips. And then we'll just take pause here. Kind of notice the sensations, any kind of rebound from the pose where you're feeling it in your body. If you're feeling it in your body, and stay with that breath. And if you like to add some movement, feel free to kind of sway those hips a little side to side. You can do a little knee circle out to the side. Just some nice gentle movements to kind of counter that pose as we were sitting there for a while. Good. Feel free to do a few cat and cows, again, nice and gently, just to move around your spine. Good. And then we'll come onto our backs. So bring your knees forward, roll onto your back. Coming into a supported bridge. So we're going to take that blanket that you have, or if you have a pillow, you can take a pillow as well, and roll up that blanket so you have a little height to it. We're going to come onto our back, pressing your heels into your mat, lift up those hips and slide that blanket underneath your waistline. Again, height is up to you. If that blanket is too high right away, that doesn't feel good on your back, feel free to unroll that blanket and bring it a little lower. If you want a little more, maybe bring another pillow underneath to lift up those hips a little higher, but it's something that you can allow those hips to rest down. So it comes down onto that block or that pillow, blanket, whatever you have. We just want to find a little bend to our back here. Legs can stay bent. Move around your shoulders so they're nice and relaxed on your mat, and then gaze can be up toward the sky. Hands are up to you. You can let them come nice and wide, maybe overhead, or just maybe on that low belly. And find that stress point where you start to feel it in that back, just a little bit, and then hold. Come back to that breath, letting your body feel heavy onto your mat. And then just breathe, just breathe. Stay here for a few more breaths. If you feel okay, you're feeling a little bit of that stress still in that body, feel free to stay where you are. If you're not feeling as much in that low back, that good nice deep stretch, feel free to lengthen out those legs. And maybe you come somewhere in between. Maybe they're bent just a little bit, maybe they stretch out long, or just kind of play with it a little bit and see how you feel. And then once you find a spot, if you did extend your legs so where you can hold, again for a little bit of time, just stay there, be still, and just breathe. Take one more nice full breath in. Full exhale. And then if your legs were long, slowly bend those knees, bring your feet back onto your mat. Pressing the heels gently into the mat, lift up the hips just enough to slide that blanket or whatever you had underneath those hips out. And then let your back come nice and flat onto the mat. Good. Keeping those knees bent. Just allow the shoulders to relax. And again, just feel the rebound of the pose. See where you feel it in your body, if you're feeling it in your body. And take a few breaths here. And if you're ready for some movement, feel free to just sway the knees side to side. Just find a nice, gentle little twist in that low body. And always take anything else you need. If you feel you need to extend your legs or maybe bring a knee into your chest a couple times, feel free to add that on. Always do what your body calls for. And then, if you're ready, we're gonna unroll that blanket just at a smaller height and place it underneath our shoulders. So come laying back onto that blanket, let the shoulders relax, the head relax down, And we'll draw both knees into the chest. Just kind of rock a little side to side, get that low back nice and grounded. Lengthening up the legs up to the sky. We're gonna come into a twist. We're gonna bring that left leg across the right, bending both knees. You can draw those knees into your chest, or you can cross at your ankles, or feel free to just have your knees together if that feels best for you. Arms come wide, or feel free again to bring them overhead. Maybe they rest on that blanket, maybe the floor's cold. And then let both knees drop over to that right side, finding a nice supine twist. Again, legs could be crossed. If this doesn't feel quite right, feel free to uncross them, stack your knees. Knees don't have to touch down. If that blanket would be better used underneath your knees for a little more support, feel free to do that. And gaze can drop to the opposite direction. So over to that left. Let both shoulders remain relaxed. We'll take a few breaths here. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, slowly unwrap those legs if you had them crossed. Come back to center, bringing both knees over those hips or kind of in towards your chest. Again, feel free to sway a little side to side. Getting that back grounded. Feel free to hug the knees into the chest. And placing the hands on the knee, just draw little circles, kind of move around. And massage that low back. And go the opposite direction with your circle. And then we'll find that twist to the other side. So lengthen out those legs. Right leg again crosses over that left. Again, bending both knees. And draw those knees into the chest just a little bit. Or again, feel free to cross your ankles or just keep your knees together. Arms come back into that wide T. Or again, whatever comfortable, maybe fingertips above, elbows nice and wide. Then allow both knees to drop over to that left side this time. Gaze can drop over to your right. If you find your right shoulder is lifting, lift up your knees a little bit, or even uncross those legs. Good. And lengthen up the legs out a little bit. Keeping that upper body nice and relaxed on your mat, nice and heavy. Do a little check with your breath. So it's still at that easy, gentle, rhythmic pace. Or is it a little off because of that twist?
Take a few more breaths. And slowly and gently unwrap those legs. Bring the knees back to center. Feel free now to maybe just place your feet down onto your mat. Again, feel free to rock those hips side to side, even lifting up your hips and bringing them back down. And just take a nice breath in. Nice breath out. And then we'll come into our Shavasana, our resting pose. So if you're good where you are, feel free to stay. If you like your arms more along your side, feel free to bring them along your side. Legs can come long. Feel free also to use that blanket to cover up with. So if you want to add some extra warmth to your body, feel free to use that blanket. Make yourself nice and comfortable and cozy. Once you're in that nice, comfortable position, allow those eyes to close over. Take a nice deep breath in. Breathe in as much as you possibly can. Take in all that air. And then a nice full exhale. Exhaling completely as you let your body just kind of sink down into the mat. Let everything release and relax. Let it feel heavy. And then just come back to that nice rhythm of your breath. That gentle in and out through your nose. Feeling that easiness in your body. And then just breathe. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana as long as you would like. If you're ready to come out, start to deepen your breath. Bring some energy back to your body. You can add on some little movement to your fingers, maybe your toes. Rolling out wrists and ankles. Nice gentle movement, no rush. When you're ready, you can draw your knees into your chest and gently roll onto one side. Take a nice deep breath in. When you're ready, you can push yourself up to an easy seat. Let's keep our eyes nice and heavy. Again, keeping that face nice and relaxed. Jaw unclenched, shoulders soft, hands can come onto the heart. Take that deep breath in through your nose. Nice full breath out. One more deep breath in. Again, fill up as much as you can. This time, sigh it all out. Open mouth, exhale. Let it all go. From my heart to yours, namaste.